into our topic on youth and environment and our conversation with Kipepeo Green Heritage CEO Wanjiku DK. Karibu sana DK.
Thank you.
But before I allow her to introduce herself, our guest has done incredible things. She's an accomplished environmental conservationist, socio and entrepreneur, and co-founder of Amazing Grace Children's Home. She's also the past president and founder of the Rotaract Club of USIU Africa and is leading reforestation, afforestation, climate mitigation, and adaptation in Nairobi, Kenya. Wow, what a profile, DK. Could you tell us more about what you do?
My work entails working with children, youth, and women across the country to do afforestation, reforestation, river cleanup, and community empowerment.
Yeah, particularly on that, let's talk about the theme for this year for the International Youth Week was Green Skills for Youth Towards a Sustainable World. So could you take us through your thoughts on how youth celebrated and how particularly your organization celebrated this week?
This was a very interesting week. For us, we culminate tomorrow with a tree planting that will be at Kirenga Primary School in the afternoon. It's all about working with the community. It's all about bringing the mother, bringing the young lady, bringing the young person in the community to first understand the environment, to understand the power within their hands and what they can do. We can all do something to mitigate climate change.
Interesting. So when we are talking about the rehabilitation of the Nairobi River, it's part of the Vision 2030 goals. So how far in your program? How far have you gone in your program?
We are working with a group in Kiamaiko called Ghetto Farmers. Those are they are local youths who used to be gang members. They used to be gun carriers. So it's all about rehabilitating them, empowering them, and then giving them a purpose. So what we've done is we've adopted a section of the Madare River. They have adopted, literally, they're the ones doing the job. We just come and empower them with ideas, then they choose what they want to do. So along the river, number one, they have planted bamboos. They have the biggest bamboo farm in Nairobi right now. Then they are doing farming, a mixed grade agroecology. They're doing fishing, they're doing tree nursery for fruit seedlings. They have chicken, they have goats, they have pigs, and they have dogs they rear. And all these are for sale. Then the returns are shared among the community members. They have 31 members in total. Then they have a section where they have some open space where the lorries used to park that come to sell goats at Kiamaiko. They have been given by the local chief. So they've put like lodgings for goats and they rent it out to the people who come to sell the goats. They rent it out for 20 shillings a day per goat.
Per goat.
So you can imagine how much they're making.
How many goats are there?
In one night, a minimum of 2,000 goats spend the night. We have literally watched lives being transformed on the go. So in the process, we are looking now to go into the next step of the river, that is cleaning specifically that section. The whole space was first a dustbin ground where all the garbage of Kiamaiko used to be thrown. So there was first reclamation of the space. Now we are reclaiming the river. So we want to throw nets that will be holding dust, the rubbish that is in the river, from the start of their section to the end. That is as you get into Kariobangi.
So DK, let me take you back a little bit. So how did you start? What inspired you to start this?
Kenya for Kenyans. Mm-hmm. That was my call to start tree planting. Because I keep asking myself, and I think I got agitated with this narrative of every year we have to fundraise for food. And I keep asking myself, if Israel can feed itself and feed the world, why can't we Kenyans do the same? We are more blessed. We are more endowed with resources, with land, with good soils, with fair enough climate compared to desert that is Israel. We can do this. Egypt is doing it. So that's how we chose to do tree planting, and our specialization is in fruit trees. Because fruit trees will empower the kid in school. The extra will be sold. It comes in as medicine. It comes into feed. And it comes into value addition that brings more money. So out of just that one fruit that is planted, we may end up having industries mushroom out of it. Like now we are teaching the youth how to make jam. Jam is from plums and from strawberries. And from mangoes, we are teaching them how to make marmalade. I mean, it's a continuous ecosystem.
Interesting. You know, many young people Okay, they complain or they say that no one is there to support them to start with their dreams because, well, the youth are the young people are the leaders of tomorrow. So who is supporting you in this work? And did you ever get to a point where you felt like no one is supporting me?
First of all, I think I need to change that angle where we keep saying youth are the leaders of tomorrow. No, we are the leaders of today, and change starts with us. If you get tired of something, then that's where your gap is. You can take the mantle and run with it. For me, the idea was start, then money will find you on the go. And that's how we started. Actually, we started as a team of hikers. So we would hike and do tree planting. Then with time, we started visiting like your mother's place, then you do tree planting. Your church, then you do tree planting. Then in the process, you find somebody saying, I'll give you 1,000 seedlings. We plant. It was not about, actually, if I'm very honest, I didn't have a coin when we started. It was just friends who bought the idea. We got running, and here we are 3 years later.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I want us to continue this conversation, and I want to take it back now to the youth. How do they seek for information? Because the government has offered many platforms for young people to get skills, like we have Talent Ahela now, we have Ajira Digital, we have KEOP. So is it an issue of youth not knowing how to find information? And if so, how can they now start finding ways to find this information to help them?
I think the issue first is to get to the youth on the ground. Yule yuko mashinani. Me and you have the info, can access the research. But we are always in these top meetings. You know, we go for high-profile meetings. We go for the summit that is coming. But the youth on the ground can't afford to do that. So we need to take the assignment from the tables to the ground. We need to make sure, go to that local church, go to that school, go to that place where the youth are hanging out doing mirror. Have that conversation. Give them a purpose. That is what we're missing. Like when we went to Ghetto Farmers, it was the first time I visited, I remember, they were seated chewing mirror. And the place was just full of drainage, you know, and with all the dirt and all the sewage running through it. And right now there's nothing. Like they've been able to divert the rivers. So the youth on the ground, it's not that they don't have information, it's information is not to their level. The English on write-ups, the English on news. Climate change, they're like, famine has always been there. What are you telling us?
Why should they care for climate change?
Yeah. Tree planting. Wangari Maathai planted trees and then she died. And then it's us to come out of our high tables, go to them, teach them from the ground. Go to that mama on the ground, teach them in their language. I've had to learn languages on the go.
Interesting. So again, when we're talking about youth, we always talk about youth and women. Could this conjoinment hinder young people from accessing the services they need or the funds they need?
Actually, it's the other way around. Youth are more, quote unquote, empowered than the women on matters climate change. Most of the time, if you ever listen, it's never about the women. How many women groups have you even had who do tree planting? Like right now, we are headed towards the summit. And it's all about giving youth space, there's even a pre-summit for the youth that will happen like 2 days before the main event. Have you heard anything about the women? Nothing. It's the other way around. Youth, there's a lot, especially if you are below 35 years, and that's anyway the demographic we're talking about. There's a lot that can be done. There are monies outside there to support your projects, to support your dreams. You just need to wake up, find the right connects, do your research, and choose to get dirty. I mean, don't expect to just get these funds easy.
So capital is saying you don't have money should not be an issue?
No, that should not be an issue.
Well, let's take a stock as a country. What have the youth done for the country as it matters climate change, and what can the youth do for the country moving forward?
We have the best advocates, and let me give an example. We have Patricia Combo, we have Liz Wathuti, we have Anita Sonia, and all these other people who are mushrooming and growing up and being mentored.
NDK, Wanjiku.
Yes. Yes, opportunities are there. So it's not like we can't do something. We can. We just need to rise. Then do not fear to ask for information. Do not fear to go to Kenya Forest Service. Go to the headquarters. They have a whole office that gives information. Go to KEFRI. They'll teach you how to do seedlings from zero to planting, to transplanting. Go to, what is it called? UNEP. They still provide a lot of information on it. So it's not that we can't do, we are just afraid. We can run.
We can run. I want to, as we're heading towards the conclusion of this interview, maybe clarify who a youth is, because right now we also have leaders who are 50 years saying they're youth, and maybe they could, when this money is released, I remember there's some 600 million shillings that was returned during the youth campaign during Uhuru's tenure. So maybe who is a youth, so that we clear the confusion today?
A youth per the Constitution is that person who is under the age of 35, at least 18 to 35. That is what is deemed a youth. But just because I've had scenarios where people say, I'm 36, I'm 39, so I don't fall in the demographic. No, you can do something. That is not an excuse. Age should not hold us back.
Wow. Okay, DK. So I want you to, again, give us your parting shot on, and also elaborate how the Kiringari, is it Kiringari? Yes. How the event is going to happen tomorrow, and who's going to be involved. They're going to be children, or which age range of young people are going to attend the event?
Tomorrow's event, it's at Kirenga Primary. That's in Lari Sub-County, Kiambu County. It's an open event to the community. We'll have the youth and we'll have young children, the school, because it's a primary and a junior high school, and the local community. So it's just an event to commemorate and allow youths to become. And just see, it's not about planting on Monday. We can do it on a Sunday as a hangout. So everybody is welcome to come and do tree planting.
Let's take a short break on that. But before that, let me just remind you of what Wanjiku DK said. If you get tired of something, then that's your gap. Let's take that quick break, but do engage with us across all our social media platforms at GPS TV Africa and or Tracy Monica on Twitter. Let's take that break.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to GBS Weekend Live. We're still talking to Wanjiku DK. What an inspiring interview. So Wanjiku, apart from being a champion for youth and environment, what other things do you do?
We do food drives. The reason we came up and started doing food drives was because of the drought and famine challenges that especially last year we experienced, that is in all the ASAL regions, and especially in Kajiado. I love Amboseli National Park, and this one time we visited, we found animals dying. But what was bad was finding schools empty. And at that point, it hit us like, we're on holidays and kids are not schooling. What can we do? So we put up a call for action, and people responded, and we had a whole collection of food to distribute to the manyatas. So food drives have become part of us, because it does not make sense to tell somebody in a manyata to plant a tree and they're hungry. You first feed them, then you teach them how to fish.
So how do you make it sustainable? Because of course, when they see you, they'll see food donation. So how do you make this sustainable?
Actually, that is quite normal. So what we've done is we've partnered with other organizations like Helping Hands International. These ones come to the table, they distribute seeds, then they come to the ground and teach them how to do like kitchen gardens. So next time, they'll never tell me they don't have Sukuma Wiki. Then we reached out to hotels around the camps, and they were able to pull water to the manyatas. So right now, a woman will not have to walk 20 kilometers. We took that stretch. We slept in those manyatas, and I can tell you, going 3 days without showering, it hits home really well. That's one angle that we do. When you go to schools and when you go to communities, like when we are in the like Kibra, Madare, and when you go to Ushago areas, that's a way of, we've been to Kitale, Mount Elgon, and the lot. We do distribute sanitary towels. This was inspired by a young girl we met in Sagana. We did a tree planting in Sagana, and this young girl, we were giving pads for free, just, I mean, an enticing angle. Then this young girl comes and requests for extra. Then at that one point, you're like, why would she was tiny, physically, she was so tiny for me to think she needed pads. And she was in primary 7 by then, that was in 2021. And she said she has never used sanitary towels. So we were keen to know, how do you get to class 7? You've never done towels. And she said, okay, she gave us the story, where she comes from, her background. And she told us her grandma, quote unquote, Shosho, taught her to dig a hole, sit on it on the 4 days that she has periods. For me, that was the game changer. I was like, we have to do this. This girl can never miss school because of pads. And that's how we adopted the distribution of sanitary towels. Then the last part is community empowerment. When you go to mashinani, again, they will ask you, unatuachia nini? Umetuletea nini? And I usually love to say, nimewaletea, but next time, nataka mnipatie. Leo nimewaletea. So I always tag along giftings. Like right now, next month we'll be in Olkaria. That's on the 12th of September. We'll be at Olkaria Primary. For that community, we are coming with goodies. True. And then they help us do tree planting and they commit to growing the fruits. But beyond that, I want them first to go plant trees at home. So we'll gift them with seedlings. Then they will be taught table banking. They will be taught saving. They will be taught investment. They will be taught how to commercialize their beadwork. We partner with others to bring that empowerment to the ground. Every so often, we've even called on Ajira to come down to the ground and have that session, 30-minute session, to just tell the youth, you have a phone. I know you get on social media every day. You can do 30 minutes of learning that will change your life and cause forever.
Have they responded?
Yeah, they do. They do. Actually, now that becomes our continuous challenge. Like, now, what next are we taking? Who else are we tagging along? Yes.
Also, an interesting, something I've always been thinking about. Okay, first of all, tell us how many trees you've planted so far.
Right now we are at 85,600.
And these trees are being looked over by the communities you've visited.
Yes, yes.
Because we see a lot of tree planting by the government, but a question that I always pose in my mind is who is taking care of these trees? But it's good to know that we have communities that you're going to taking care of the trees. So I'll give you some time to give us your parting shot and moving forward, what young people can do for the country.
Let me say, this is directed to the youth and to that woman outside there. There is opportunity in matters climate change. Take them and run with them. Then youth, women, you know you're the backbone of society. Rise and be counted. There's no other leader who's coming. There's nobody coming to save us. We need to save ourselves. Remember, you possess boundless energy, creativity, and the unwavering spirit. You are the voices that can resound like the thunderstorm. Let your voice be heard. Let your energy be seen. Let you be the change that we need today, tomorrow, and forever.
Wonderful. Thank you, DK. This was definitely electrifying. Thank you for joining us on GBS Weekend Live.